What's up YouTube? It is day 4 of Jake Tuura's vertical jump protocol. It is an upper body concentric focus day. I actually meant to film this yesterday on day 3, which would have been a lower body day, but the gym was packed. So I figured that I would film today and just show you the highlights of yesterday, which are here. Jumps weren't great yesterday. I think my vertical jump, top one was like a 25.8. Approach jumps were terrible, which I kind of expected that. The day before yesterday, on Wednesday, I ran some 20-yard sprints and then went to kickboxing that night. So I figured I'd be a little down, but that's okay. Lift was still good. Got some trap bar, got some good Bulgarians in there. So, okay, so we've got a concentric only bench press, which means I've got the pin set up. I'm gonna go down, fast on the way down, dead stop, blast it on the way up. It's supposed to be between 55 and 60%. So I've got 185 on the bar, which is right in the middle of that. We've got 4 sets, 5 reps, superset with that. We're gonna go 4 sets, 5 reps on the dumbbell row. Same thing, concentric only, rip it on the way up, drop on the way down, dead stop on the bottom. All right, I've got some questions for us to answer. First one's from YouTube. It says, why such a big difference between jump mats? 5 inches is a big difference. He's talking about the discrepancy between the plyo mat and the just jump mat that I talked about in my video. The way it was explained to me, the way these mats work is there's a pressure sensor in the mat that detects when you're on the mat and when you're off the mat. So you're on the mat, you jump and you leave the mat, and it calculates your flight time. And then when you hit the mat, it stops calculating it. That's how it calculates your vertical jump. So the issue with just jump is their formula probably did not take into account how much pressure is actually required to trigger that mat. So when you jump and you start leaving the mat, it might trigger that you're in the air before your toes have actually left the mat, and then it might not trigger that you're back onto the mat until like your full foot is on the mat. So it's giving you a few extra milliseconds of hang time on either side of the jump, on the takeoff and on the landing, which equates to a longer flight time, which equates to a higher vertical jump. From what I've been told, plyomat takes into account how much pressure is required to trigger their sensors, which is why it's more accurate. All right, let's get into this next set. Second question is, what do you want your vert to be? Any specific goals? All-time PR was a 34 or a 35. I think it was a 34 on the just jump, which would have been about a 29 or so on the plyo mat. So if I could get back to that or even exceed that, that'd be awesome. I'd love to hit an all-time vertical jump PR. All right, next we have push press and neutral grip pull-ups. Same concept as the bench and the rows. Blast it on the way up, drop it on the way down, dead stop. Only focusing on the concentric portion of the movement. 4 sets of 5, 4 sets of 5. Let's roll. Next question, 2 questions from the same person. First one, what to eat before and after workouts. Before your workouts, you want something that is predominantly carbohydrate, fruit, or things like rice, potatoes, bread, pasta, and a pinch of Rice Krispie treat anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes before you train, maybe 90 minutes, depending on your schedule and everything. Good rule of thumb is carbohydrates typically take about 1 gram per minute to digest. So if you eat 60 grams of carbs, it's going to take somewhere around an hour or 60 minutes to fully digest. So kind of use that to plan. That's what you want before you train. Why? Carbohydrates are predominantly your main source of fuel when you train, especially for anything that's high intensity. I just realized I was not doing a push on that. That's okay. If you're like, let's say you're waking up and immediately going to the gym and you don't have time to eat, or you can't stomach food, some type of sugary liquid, juice, a Gatorade, not the zero sugar, the one that has sugar in it, something like that is going to work after workouts. You're still going to want carbs because you want to replenish the glycogen or the carbs that you used during your training, right? Especially if you're an athlete that's lifting and then practicing later in the day, or you're practicing multiple times a day. After that first training session, you want to prioritize carbs as soon as possible. You also want protein in your post-workout meal. Protein powder is perfectly fine. A lot of people think that protein powder is some like lesser form of protein. It's food like anything else. Obviously, there's other micronutrients and things that come along when you eat whole foods, but protein powder is super convenient, and it's also like per serving is super cheap. So if that's what you've got, that's perfectly fine. Second question was, what is the best nutrition plan? I cannot answer that. That's like saying, what's the best exercise? For what? What's your goals? What are your plans? What are your needs, right? What's your situation? What equipment do you have available, right? Same thing with nutrition. Everything is context dependent on you and your situation. But I can't say that keto is the best nutrition plan, or paleo, or veganism, or whatever, this, that, and the other. Weight Watchers, who cares? If it fits your macros, who cares? What I can tell you is principles. Stop thinking about the thing itself. Stop thinking about the X's and O's. Think about the principles that determine those X's and O's, right? So what I mean by that is a good diet is going to be one that A, fits your needs and your goals and is conducive to those needs and those goals. Step 2 of what makes a good diet is something that you can actually stick with. It does not matter if on paper something is the best workout program or the best diet, okay? It doesn't matter if on paper it's the best. If you hate it and you can't stick with it long term, consistently, it's worthless, okay? I think in our kind of like modern world of like optimizing everything, I think we've kind of lost the fact that like a plan that is like a B+ plan that's done consistently for a long time is going to kick the ass of an A++ plan that you can't stick with because you hate it. So last thing we got, 2 sets, 20 yards, single arm farmer's carry. It is warm out here. It is March 14th and it's already 85 degrees in Texas. But it's Flannel Friday, so can't take this off. That just locked me out of the gym. That's okay. I'll have to go through the front. Last question I have is from Instagram. Also, the last question is from Instagram too. If you don't follow me at Coach Ronnie Baker, go follow me. Do you have to go on a bulk to build muscle? Do you have to? No. Does it help? Yes. Also, I'm going to say, depends on what you mean by bulk. Like being in a caloric surplus, yes, you probably do, unless you're a beginner or you haven't trained in forever. But that doesn't have to be a very big surplus. 150 to 300 calories a day is usually enough unless you want to get fat. And that's what I mean by, what do you mean by bulk? If you mean a caloric surplus, then unless you're a beginner or you haven't trained in a long time, yeah, you probably do. It's definitely going to help. But if by bulk you mean you need to eat like just an absolute metric fuck ton of calories, pardon my French, I don't know who watches it, I don't know if my mom watches these videos. Take it from someone who freshman year of high school was 205 pounds. Going into their senior year of high school, I was 280 pounds. Did I build a lot of muscle? Yes. Did I get pretty strong? Yeah. But I got fat. And now I've spent my entire adult life trying to lose and then maintain the loss of that fat. So, do you need to be in a caloric surplus? Yes. Do you need to be a fat ass? No. Okay. That's it for the workout. If you submitted a question, thank you a lot. I really mean it. Gives me something to talk about and rant about during these videos. If you're still watching at this point, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate it. If you haven't already, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment saying what you liked, what you didn't like, anything you want to see more or less of. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment or shoot me a DM on Instagram at Coach Ronnie Baker. And until next time, see you.